everybody! Welcome to Suga's Delight. This is my 100th video.
So I thought of showing you something that was in hundreds and something that was best.
Special, I'll be showing you 100 inspiring women in the world. Why did I choose women? Because they are the most beautiful, gorgeous creatures in the whole world. And I think that a woman is gorgeous no matter what size she is. Let's get started.
These amazing and inspiring women were chosen by BBC. The first woman is Loza Abaragino. She is an Ethiopian footballer. She played for Hawassa City SC in the Ethiopian Women's Premier League for 2 seasons. Next is Hauda Abaus. She is a Moroccan rapper. She stands up for women's rights and gender equality. As a Moroccan rapper in a male-dominated industry, she considers her music a tool for change. Now is Christina Adain. She is from Netherlands and is a campaigner. She was behind the UK petition for free school meals during the summer holidays. It was supported by footballer Marcus Rashford. Now we'll be looking at Ivana Ki Sawyer. She's a mayor and she's from Sierra Leone. She is best known for her Transform Freetown plan, which targets 11 sectors. Now we'll be looking at Bangladeshi former sex worker Reina Akhtar. She has served around 400 meals a week during this pandemic. That's a lot. Now we'll be looking at Sara Elmiri. She's from UAE and is a Minister of Advanced Technology. She was the science lead and deputy project manager for the Emirates Mars mission. Now we'll be looking at Syrian filmmaker Wadel Khatib. Her first feature, For Sama, won the BAFTA Award for Best Documentary. Interesting. Next we'll be looking at Italian pathologist Adriana Albini. She is the head of Vascular Biology and Angiogenesis Laboratory of IRCCS Multimedia. Now is Uba Ali from Somaliland. She is an FGM educator. She is the co-founder of Solace for Somaliland Girls. Nisreen Awan, who is a British Iraqi health expert, researches the health and well-being of women and children. Let's move on. We'll be looking at Elizabeth Anyanwu from UK. She is a nurse. She is an emeritus professor of nursing at the University of West London. She is also a groundbreaking sickle cell and thalassemia nurse. Now let's look at Nadine Ashraf from Egypt. She is a campaigner. She is passionate about spreading knowledge in a way accessible to the general population. Let's look at Erika Baker from Germany. She is an engineer and director of engineering at JetHub. She is currently based in Oakland, California. Next, we'll be looking at Diana Barron from UK. She is the Parliamentary Under-Secretary of State. She is the founder and former chief executive of Safe Lives. She received the Beacon Award for England in 2007. Bilkis, who is an Indian protest leader, proved herself at the age of 82 by peacefully protesting against a controversial citizenship law. Cindy Bishop is from Thailand. She is a UN Women Ambassador and model. She also campaigns on ending violence against women. She is the Knowledge Director of Dragonfly 360. McKinley Buston is an Australian scientist and inventor. She began coming up with inventions when she was 7. Whoa, that's really cool. Let's look at Evelina Cabrera now. She's an Argentinian football coach and manager. She founded the Argentinian Women's Football Association. Let's look at Wendy Beatriz Cashwell-Jaco from El Salvador. She's a disability activist. She is also the El Salvador's representative at the Women's Institute on Leadership and Disability. Carolina Castro is an Argentine union leader. She's the first woman to have reached the governing position in the Argentine Industrial Union. Agnes Chow is from Hong Kong and she is a pre-democracy activist. She has been a key figure during the 2014 Umbrella movement. She has been active in politics since the age of 15. Patrice Cullors is from US and she is a human rights activist. Los Angeles native, she is the co-founder and executive director of Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation. Tsitsi Dembaranga is from Zimbabwe and she's a writer and filmmaker. She has written award-winning books that are regarded as Zimbabwean classics. Shani Zenda is who we'll be looking at next. She is from UK and is a disability activist. She has been recognized as one of the UK's most influential disabled people. Naomi Dixon is from UK and is a chief executive. She has dedicated her professional life to supporting Jewish women and children who have experienced domestic abuse and educating the Jewish community. Karen Dolwell is from Norway and is an innovator. She is the chief executive and co-founder of No Isolation. Let's move on. Gilbert Elman is from Somalia. She is a peace activist and she co-founded Somalia's first rape crisis center at the age of 20. Next, let's look at Jung and Kyung. She is a South Korean KDCA commissioner. She has been described as a virus hunter as she has led South Korea's response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Chinese author Fang Fang has produced more than 100 works. That's amazing, right? No wonder BBC has chosen her to be one of the most inspiring women on earth. Okay, let's move on. Samia Faruqi is from Afghanistan and is a robotics team leader. She has won several awards, including a silver medal for courageous achievement at the first Global Challenge. Elaine Flynn. She is from Republic of Ireland and is a senator. She is the first woman from the Irish Travelers community to sit in the Senate Iran. Actress Jane Fonda from US currently stars in the hit Netflix series Grace and Frankie. She is a 2-time Academy Award-winning actress. Kiran Gandhi from US is who we'll be looking at next. She is a singer and performs as Madame Gandhi. Her mission is to elevate and celebrate gender liberation. Lauren Gardner. She's from US and is a scientist. She's also an engineering professor at Johns Hopkins University and co-director of the Center for System Science and Engineering. Next, let's look at Alicia Garza from US. She's a human rights activist. She has written the book, The Purpose of Power, How We Come Together When We Fall Apart. Microgrid manager Iman Galib Alhamli from Yemen manages a group of 10 women who set up a solar microgrid offering clean and low-impact energy. That's fabulous. Next, let's look at Sarah Gilbert from UK. She's a scientist, and when genetic details of the new coronavirus were published, Sarah and her team set to work to create a COVID-19 vaccine. Next, let's look at Maggie Gobran from Egypt. She is a Coptic nun, and she has devoted her life to transforming those of marginalized children in Egypt. Next is Rebecca Giumi from Tanzania. She's a lawyer and an advocate for gender equality. She has vast experience working on youth engagement and building women's movements. Detta Hedman from Jamaica is a darts champion. She has won 215 darts titles. That's awesome! Take a look at Mirza Abdullah Hedhendon. She's a writer and she excelled Uyghur from Georgia. She began making a name for herself as a poet and essayist while studying medicine. Filmmaker Oyaidu Ikpe-Itim from Nigeria has committed herself to creating stories about marginalized groups there. Next, let's take a look at Japanese sake master brewer Miho Imada. She decided to train and become one of the few female sake master brewers in Japan after the male sake master brewer at her family brewery retired. Indian musician Isevani is a distinctive Ghana singer in India. She has spent years singing and performing in this male-dominated space. Indian athlete Manasi Joshi is the current para-badminton world champion. She is ranked world number 2 in the SL3 singles. From France is Nadine Caden, and she's a writer and illustrator. She has worked with young refugees in mitigating post-conflict trauma. Malenga Kapwepwe is a Zambian artist and curator. She is the co-founder of the Zambian Women's History Museum. Dr. Jemima Kariuki is from Kenya. She is deeply passionate about preventive medicine. She founded the Peace Club. Next, let's take a look at Gülsüm Kav. She's from Turkey and is a social justice activist. She's the co-founder of We Will Stop Femicide. Moving on, we'll look at Jackie Kay from UK. She's a poet. She was named the Scots Macaw, and she's the Chancellor of the University of Salford. Next is Salsabila Kairanisa, Indonesian environmental campaigner. She leads a school strike against deforestation in front of the office of the Ministry of Environment and Forestry. Mahira Khan, who is a Pakistani actress, supports the fight against racism. She wants to tackle social issues in her native Pakistan by changing the narrative in films and on TV. Moving on, let's look at Angelique Kid Joe from Benin. She's a musician. She has cross-pollinated the West African traditions of her childhood in Benin with elements of American R+B, funk, and jazz. Next is Chu Kim Dek from Vietnam. She's an architect. She's on a mission to promote children's right to play in Vietnam. Next is Safa Kamari from Syria. She is a plant virologist. She looks for solutions to epidemics that destroy crops, and she has spent years discovering virus-resistant plant varieties. Ishta Lakhani from South Africa is an activist. She collaborates with social justice organizations, movements, and networks around the world. Next is Mayor Claudia Lopez from Colombia. She's the first female mayor of Bogota, Colombia's capital. Let's look at Jessina Miquel from Mozambique. She's a social justice activist and a long-standing defender of human rights. Next is Sanna Marin from Finland. She is a prime minister. She is also a leader of Social Democratic Party of Finland. Activist Hayat Murshid is from Lebanon. She is the co-founder of Female, a pioneer feminist collective in Lebanon. Next is Bulelwa Kutakana. She is a South African singer and songwriter. She has been showered with awards and is enjoying a successful career. Next is Lucy Monegan from Northern Ireland. She is a campaigner. She waived her right to talk about anonymity, to talk about how she was treated by police and prosecutors. Next is journalist Daouz Namwazid Nimbamba from DR Congo. She is the founder of Uwezo Africa Initiative, a non-profit venture promoting women's empowerment through journalism. Vanessa Naked is who we'll be looking at next. She's from Uganda and is a climate activist. She campaigns internationally to highlight the impacts of climate change already occurring in Africa. Next, let's look at Ethelreda Nakimoli Mpungu from Uganda. She's a mental health expert. She works towards making therapy more culturally appropriate. Next is Nanda from Myanmar. She's a feminist activist. She founded the Purple Feminists Group and co-directed a production of the Vagina Monologues in Yangon. Next, we'll look at an environmental activist. She is Vernetta M. Mobley. She's from US and her passion is the fight to save Mother Earth. Let's look at Namonte Nankimo now. She is from Ecuador and is a Waorani leader. She is committed to defending her ancestral territory. Next, we'll look at Sania Nishta from Pakistan. She's a global health leader and has been spearheading the Transformating ACEs Poverty Alleviation Program. Phyllis Omido is who we'll be looking at next. She's from Kenya and is an environmental activist. She is the founder and executive director of the Center for Justice, Governance and Environmental Action. Activist Laleh Osmani from Afghanistan is fed up with women being denied what she thought was a basic right. Activist Laleh Osmani started the Where Is My Name campaign. Next is Indian climate activist Willima Pandi. At the age of 9, she filed a petition against the government of India in response to its inaction to mitigate climate change. Australian dementia researcher Lorna Prendergast graduated from Melbourne University at the age of 90. So, from this we can learn that we are never too old to study. Next is Oskana Prashkina from Russia. She is the Deputy Vice Chairwoman of the Committee on Family, Women and Children Issues at Russia State Duma. Brazilian Kibel Reisi is a retired head teacher who pioneered the teaching of racial equality to primary school children in Sao Paulo. Nutritionist Susana Rafali from Venezuela is the founder of a network of centers providing nutritional support for children living in slums. Next is Sapana Rokamagar from Nepal. She is a crematorium technician. After becoming homeless for 3 months, she traveled to Kathmandu where she became involved in an organization that cremates unclaimed bodies. Computational geneticist Paris Saberi from Iran was in the team of Ebola fighters named Persons of the Year by Time magazine. Next we'll be looking at Fepsi Setiawati from Indonesia. She is an activist. She founded Untukteman.id, an organization that helps vulnerable people. Let's look at Ruth Shady now. She's from Peru and is an archaeologist. She's the Vice Dean of Research at the Faculty of Social Sciences of the National University of San Marcos. Next is Panusaya Sitijirawatanako from Thailand. She's a student activist. Pro-democracy protests have swept through Thailand and students like Panusaya are at the heart of it. Next is Nasreen Sotoudeh from Iran. She is a human rights activist. She is an Iranian lawyer advocating for the rule of law and the rights of political prisoners, opposition activists, women and children in Iran. Katie Sullivan from US is a scientist and astronaut. She was one of the first 6 women to join the NASA astronaut corps in 1978. Bangladeshi teacher Rima Sultana Rimu is a member of Young Women Leaders for Peace in Cox's Bazar, Bangladesh. Brazilian transgender model Lee T has gained recognition as the first openly transgender person to participate in an Olympics opening ceremony. Quite interesting. Next is Anna Tijoux from France. She's a musician. She highlighted her support for women's rights and opposition to gender violence in her 2014 album Vengo. Next is Opal Tometi from US. She's a human rights activist. She is an award-winning defender and one of the 3 female co-founders of Black Lives Matter. Is Svetlana Tsikhanouskaya from Belarus. She's a politician and she is the former presidential candidate in Belarus, where she led a national democratic movement. Next is Julius Watkova from Russia. She's an activist and she began raising issues related to women's rights, LGBT rights, anti-militarism, and ecology. Let's look at Arusi Unda from Mexico now. She's a campaigner. Arusi and her feminist collective Brujas del Mar have emerged as a voice for women. Let's take a look at Anastasia Wolfkova from Ukraine now. She's an entrepreneur and she founded Fluorosat, a company that uses drone and satellite data along with algorithms and other tools to help farmers optimize crop production. Next is Kochakorn Vorkom from Thailand. She's a landscape architect. She began her work with the aim of prizing apart the cracked pavement of Bangkok's sprawling cityscape. Next is Siouxsie Wiles from UK. She's a scientist and public health communicator who has been a force of nature in New Zealand during the pandemic. Next is Elaine Williams from UK. She's a writer and disability advocate who has shared her experiences of ME and retinitis pigmentosa on her blog. Alice Wong is from US and she's a disability activist. She published a new anthology, Disability Visibility, First-Person Stories from the 21st Century. Next is Leo Yeason from Singapore. She is a doctor. She has spent decades improving HIV care in Singapore and leading teams through many outbreaks of infectious diseases. Malaysian actress Michelle Yeoh is who we'll be looking at next. She broke into acting by performing her own stunts in the men's world of Hong Kong martial arts films. Korean activist Aisha Yusufu. She was a prominent participant in the NSAS protests. Next is Gulnaz Zuzbayeva from Kyrgyzstan. She's a disability activist and founder of the Kyrgyz Federation of the Blind. Last but not least, the Unsung Hero. It might be you too, but for me, it's my dearest mother, as she motivates me whenever I feel sad. I like to end off with this quote: "If you believe you can, you will."
Maybe in the future, I might be the unsung hero too. Well, for now, thank you for watching. Please like, share, and comment. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new, and also click the bell icon near the subscribe button to receive the notifications of my new videos. Always give your support to me, and bye for now.